JL, I'm really excited. It's finally here. The podcast is up. It's in iTunes. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here recording the very first session of the Natural Hair Community Podcast. I want to thank everyone out there who's listening. We really appreciate it. Today, we're going to provide you with a quick introduction of who we are, just in case you aren't familiar with our website. Then we're going to dive into our definition of natural hair and what it means to us to really be natural. We will briefly discuss the specifics about the format of the show and why we decided to start a podcast in the first place. We will also talk about how this podcast will benefit you and why you should listen in the future. So if you haven't heard of us before, we're Kenneth and JL. We're a husband and wife team that owns a blog called naturalhaircommunity.com. If you are familiar with our blog, then you probably know that we're known for writing very detailed and sometimes very long articles for the natural hair community. But we're not cosmetologists, nor are we certified or licensed hair care experts. But we have stayed in a couple of Holiday Inns over the years, so we're hoping that counts for something. All jokes aside, we spend several hours each week and oftentimes each day studying hair care methodologies and the science associated with hair care. I think you'll be able to determine pretty quickly that we are clearly in the know with respect to how to take care of natural hair.
Every natural hair journey will begin for a different reason and will follow a unique path. Everyone's understanding about going natural will not be the same either. However, when going natural, there are some commonalities that each of us will experience or have experienced depending on how we transition. Going natural is not hard. Actually, it's very easy and can be done in one simple step. Stop relaxing the hair. It's just that simple. What can be more of a challenge, and what many women find very difficult, is the mental and physical hair transition. Mentally, you have to relearn your hair, which is analogous to pressing the reset button on your mind as it pertains to your natural hair and your natural hair texture. There is not a right or a wrong way for going natural. It's just important that you know what your reason is. The reason why you're going natural will affect you mentally as you take your journey. Knowing exactly why you're doing it will help you maintain focus during your transition, making the process of going natural important and thinking ahead to the future of your natural hair is very critical because you will need to take the proper steps to get you to the future place of your natural hair. It's worth noting that the reason why you go natural may not be the reason why you stay natural. As you mature on your journey, your knowledge, awareness, and self-esteem will continue to flourish. If you don't have family members or friends that support your decision, you will have to motivate yourself. So understanding exactly why you're going natural is extremely important, as your reason will be the fuel that keeps you going on your natural hair journey.
If you really want to have a successful natural hair journey, you really need to do two things. The first thing is to determine what your definition of success is. And then the next thing is determine what the term natural hair really means to you. We define the term natural hair as relaxer-free hair, which is quite different than the term chemical-free hair, which you may have seen thrown around from time to time. Chemicals, on the surface are oftentimes considered dangerous, but oftentimes this really isn't the case at all. Most chemicals that you encounter on a day-to-day basis really aren't harmful. Think about water or H2O or air even. These are both chemicals and they're perfectly safe. Another thing to consider is that black natural hair is sometimes labeled as nappy hair that needs to be corrected by a relaxer. We've heard of situations where women have been discriminated against in the workplace due to having natural hairstyles, or their natural hairstyles were deemed unprofessional by some employers. People have been denied jobs or promotions because of their natural hair. And then natural hair has caused relationship issues for many couples. This podcast in particular is about helping you understand your hair and providing you with information and resources to naturally achieve healthy natural hair. Some natural hair care advisors or even product manufacturers may tell you that you simply need to select their product or master protective styling to have a successful natural hair journey. And if you've tried some of these techniques and you haven't found the success that you're aiming for, you probably know by now that you need more than just this generic recycled advice. That's one of the main reasons why we started this podcast. Our hair care methodology is based on a comprehensive blueprint for building a successful natural hair journey. It's not designed to only provide you with short-term results, but to build a robust foundation within your journey that will lead to a lifetime of success. The Natural Hair Blueprint is based on everything that JL and I have learned over the years, reading cosmetology books, studying scientific periodicals and performing general research, and by advising naturals around the world and actually watching their hair improve over time. This blueprint that we created is divided into 3 pillars: foundation, products, and then there's a styling and maintenance pillar. Each of these pillars work to help you improve your natural hair journey. This blueprint is intended to be balanced. However, depending on your strengths, you may need to spend more time on certain areas of the blueprint to see real improvements in your hair.
Learning about natural hair is critical. However, you don't have to be an expert to get started. You will learn from your own experiences and from naturals around you. Keep in mind, all you need to start your journey is to make a decision to stop relaxing your hair. Make a commitment to yourself that you will keep an open mind about your natural hair texture and how it looks. Having low self-esteem can adversely impact virtually every aspect of your life, including the health of your hair. Changing your mindset, that is, changing the way that you think, is a critical part of boosting self-esteem and feeling good about yourself. There really isn't a right or a wrong way to go natural. The important element is that you are. There are multiple approaches, and each approach can arguably have benefits and consequences. You will need to choose the best approach for you. That is, the approach that will help you achieve your natural hair goal or your natural hair future place.
That's exactly right, JL. Now let's talk for a few minutes about the podcast and what it will be about. We know that we won't be able to please everyone. We understand that that's impossible. However, the plan is to focus on the things that the majority of our audience really want to hear. Just recently, we surveyed our audience on the Natural Hair Community blog, and after surveying the audience, we determined that the podcast will focus on 3 primary topics: hair growth tips, the best products to use for your hair, and natural hair recipes. From time to time, we will discuss the latest trends in the natural hair community. We'll interview other natural hair bloggers and talk about questions that we receive from our audience. On average, we will target roughly 15 minutes per episode. However, there will definitely be times where the show goes longer than 15 minutes. So we'll see how it goes initially, and as always, we'll give you the opportunity to provide feedback over time. We'll continue to adjust until we get things just right.
The primary reason that we started this podcast is because we wanted to assist you. For those of you who follow our blog, you know that we do everything that we can to help you during your journey. So that's exactly why we started the podcast. If you're new to the Natural Hair Community brand and you're not familiar with us, then you may have found us on iTunes, or probably you heard about us from another natural, or found us through one of the many podcasting directories. Regardless, if you want to learn more about us, please go to naturalhaircommunity.com.
So that's it, everybody. A few quick tips sprinkled throughout the course of this session and quite a bit of information about us and the podcast. Thanks again for listening. We hope that we're able to provide you with some incredible content in the future. We definitely do not want this podcast to be a waste of your time. We plan to provide you with great tips that you can implement within your natural hair journey immediately. If you're at all familiar with our blog, then you probably know that we're all about taking action. So we're going to be providing you throughout the course of this podcast real actionable ideas that work, and we'll be telling you some things that don't work very well so that you can understand exactly what you need to do for your natural hair journey to be a success. So that's it. Thanks for listening to the very first session of the Natural Hair Community podcast. We hope that you're looking forward to the next session.